Lucky, really good to have you in the Sports Editor. It's lovely to talk to another schoolmaster about cricket and your involvement, obviously playing for the Dolphins and for your professional career. So thank you so much for your time on the Sports Editor, Lucky. Really good to have you on the show.
Good to be on the show, Ryan.
Lucky, who introduced you to cricket and sort of where did it all start for you?
Well, it was through KZN Cricket Union, but they had two guys that were from Cape Town, Western Province, that came to work and started this development program via obviously KZN Cricket. They actually came to the schools around in PMB, Pietermaritzburg, where I was actually born and bred. So they came to schools, and that's how we started with Baker's Mini Cricket. Funny enough, there were about, I don't know how many schools, probably 20 schools. But we all had to go to Indumiso, it was called Indumiso Teaching Campus, which is around that area in Mbali Township. All we had was one net with about 60 kids all at once running around there. So that's where it started. His name was Sakele Salmon and Rodney Malamba. Rodney Malamba would be known for being the first guy ever, an African guy to play cricket as such in KZN. But he originally came from Western Province, Cape Town, to come and help with the coaching. So I think that's where it started for us. In primary school, we were in that development program, which was initially started, as I said, by KZN Cricket.
Sure. That's interesting. That's brilliant. You know, to me, it seems like you got an opportunity and you took it. So that's brilliant.
Yeah, if you look at it, I mean, there were like 60 or so of us. And funny enough, I ended up, as one of the guys that went on and took it on to this day,
Yeah, like as you mentioned, you played KZN Coastals and obviously for the Dolphins as well. But it must have been nice to rub shoulders with the likes of Hashim Amla, Dale Begenstein. Was that sort of like a nice sort of effect of playing cricket professionally as well that you enjoyed?
We were at school, obviously with Hashim Amla. I knew him from the school setup. He was at DHS and I was obviously at Maritzburg College. So I had a little bit of, involvement with him in terms of school cricket. But yeah, getting into that Dolphins setup with the likes of Dale Bekenstein, as you mentioned, was another level. I mean, Sean Pollock was also involved at the time, Lance Klusener, Errol Stewart, just to mention a few. When you in that setup, John T. Rhodes as well was there. I was very lucky to be involved with that crop of players. It was an amazing time for me, but obviously the way things around and having to play with the players of that caliber, I mean, you realize and you look back and you say, hey, I rubbed shoulders with one of the greatest players in the world. I mean, I was lucky in that regard that in my era when I played, those were the guys that were in the setup at the time. It's quite an amazing experience for me.
Because I'm not mistaken, your favorite ball was the bouncer, wasn't it?
You could say that it was one of those balls that that made a difference. Obviously, you had to bowl it very quickly for the batters to not pick it up. But I think having guys like Nixon McLean, the West Indian, around, you learned a lot. I mean, you watched the way they bowled, the way they went about things, and you sort of pick that up and try and implement it in your game as well. So Sean Pollock was around at the time. I mean, those are the greatest players around in that era. So it was quite an amazing experience for me. I learned a lot, I think, from that. And obviously, with my experience, passing it on at this day and age to the youngsters is what I would like to do, in my lifetime.
Yeah, Lucky, because, talking about that, you've been so committed to coaching generally, and we'll break it down as we go along. But specifically, being involved in the coaching, it must have been the effect where, like you just said there, you want to give back. But I mean, you've been giving back for a good number of years now. how do you keep going? Because it's been year after year after year, and also at very tough times. You know, it's sort of like the beginning of the year with your involvement in Cub weeks. How do you manage to do it all?
Yeah, Ryan, I think if you have passion for whatever you do, I mean, it's like your everyday sort of life. You get up every day and you look forward to doing it, and I'm sure yourself, you've got passion that drives you every single day. Obviously, there are challenges along the way, but what is more important is that you love what you do, and it doesn't become a job to you, but it just becomes a lifestyle. If you understand what I'm saying, is something that you want to do every single day of your life, and I think that's why for me is what makes me to go every single day, because I love coaching cricket. I love getting involved with the game. I think the game has taught me a lot of things. I mean, from my young age to where I am today, I think I owe it that much. I mean, to give back to the current or to the next, group of players, because that's what we do in our lifetime, just passing on and knowledge and experience of what we have gained. Yeah, but ultimately, I think it's the passion that drives me. I love what I do in terms of coaching. I love to see the next players getting better and improving and changing lives. I think that's what ultimately is the most important thing for me, because I know where I come from, and the game has changed my life a lot. From where I come from to today, I can speak volumes of what the game has done for me. So for me, it's all about giving that back and making sure that the next group of players don't experience what I have. They must gain even more, and the guidance along the way, because I've walked that path, is important. Yeah.
No, Lucky, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. I think cricket in South Africa is lucky to have guys like you involved. So well done. Keep up the good work. But you're currently involved at St. Charles College. That's been an interesting decision, given that you went to Maritzburg College, but we'll leave that. But talking about successes, and one name that we have to mention is Wesley Madhevere. That guy has just been phenomenal. And we were talking before how he's just gone from school cricket to an international career, and he's handled it like he's been doing it for 5 years already. When you see achievements like that, that just sort of must make you feel like, wow, you see, that's what I'm talking about. Success stories like that, because he is a brilliant person to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, Brian, you experience different players every day, and Wes is one of the players that are really special, that I've come across in my coaching career. You could see, I mean, even when he was with us at St. Charles College, he was a different player altogether. I mean, with the schoolboy cricketers, you will find those that are exceptional, and he was one of those players that are exceptional in terms of just the overall complete player. I mean, he's an amazing fielder. When he's on the field, the way he picks the ball up and throws it in is a different level. The way he bowls. I know that when I got involved with him, he had already been playing first team cricket, and I used to watch him on a Saturday, and you'd know if St. Charles was bowling second and the opposition is chasing the runs down, when he bowls from one end, there's no ways that that opposition team will win, because the way he thinks about the game, the way he looks at things is completely another level. So I've been lucky. I mean, I can mention a few players, but with him that I've been involved with, it's just been amazing. And the way he's gone about it now with the Zim side, he just tells you the story. But I've been fortunate enough to be part of that. And there will be many more players, but I don't know. And you get one player this year, and it might be another 2 years before you can experience something like that.
Yeah. You're definitely lucky, and it's so nice to see that cricket is producing people like us, guys like it because he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. He is such a humble, brilliant person.
Yeah. So yes.
Yeah. And 2019 was a really successful year, I'd say, for you guys. You know, doing well in the Coca-Cola T20 championships there.
Yes.
It's a great year. We won't talk about 2020 because no one wants to talk about 2020.
Yes.
But when you have a year like you did last year, you know, you said Wesley Madhevere was a good spinner. You also had another good spinner in Jason Logan.
Yes.
He also had a good year, played KZN in 19, went to the Coke Week. Do you think there's future prospects for a chap like him as well? Seems to be doing quite well.
Yes, Jason is a special cricketer, as you mentioned there, because he can bowl for you, he can bat, he can offer you that as well, and he's a good fielder as well. Funny enough that we haven't seen much of him this year, because this year was obviously, as you just mentioned now, a very disruptive year. He would have had to spend a year in the academy here with England.
Okay.
I think he would have made progress in that regard, but I know that he's looking to go overseas and probably play there. Some club cricket, and we'll see what comes out of that. But yes, he's a handy cricketer, and he's a sort of guy when we needed a wicket, he would come on and bowl. He will strike every single time. So he had that about him, that he will change a game. Even when we needed someone to stick around and score us a few runs to set us up for the game, he's a sort of guy that we relied on. Yes, he was one of the key players for us in 2019, Jason Logan. I think he does, he's got what it takes. Obviously, we'll have to monitor and see how he goes about it when he does go overseas, and maybe he does come back, decides to come back. But yeah, we'll just watch him closely. Yeah, I think he's got so much talent at his disposal. Yeah, and I would back him all the way. To get somewhere one day, but obviously that's his choice, whether that happens in this country or in the UK. So he will decide what he wants to do. But I definitely think there's something there that is special.
Yeah, you definitely need your match winners. They make a big difference. They really do. And I know you guys are going to have to do a bit of hard work this year, but I believe it will carry on into 2021. And like
absolutely.
Talking about you as a coach, I reckon you've been to Antarctica before. You're the coolest coach I've ever met.
No, I don't know. Yeah, people will say that. Maybe it's in my nature. It is. Sometimes you don't see what you do and how you react to certain things, but obviously it comes from people that see you every day, that watch your behavior and what you do. Yeah, but I just think when I do coach, I try and understand the players that we're working with, because that is very important. How they behave, and try and work with them. Because if you come with the style of saying, okay, this is how I want it done, this is what we're going to do. Yes, sometimes it works with certain players, but not with everyone. So you've got to try and be the guy that obviously watches different personalities in your team, because that is important. Because one guy might be good when you shout at him and he would understand and respond. But one guy, if you do that, then he will just say, okay, I'm parking the bus here. You carry on, say, I'm not going to do what you want. So it's very important as a coach to embrace those different personalities in your side, and then that's what brings the best out of them. So yes, I try to be like that, but yes, sometimes it won't work with everyone. But as long as you've got that consistency with your coaching and how you go about things and learning, I think that's important, because you see different coaches out there, and you have to learn, especially the guys that have made it and that are successful. How did they do it? What made them, be so successful? So it's all about that, and all the processes in place. And trying to learn from the other guys is important. And that's how you grow as a coach. I'm still learning a lot today about my coaching, and I'm still, wanting to grow and be a better person.
No, that's true. And like I think you definitely bring across that nice sort of calmness to the team, which I think is very important, because in terms of fixtures, I don't think you guys have an easy weekend when it comes to fixtures.
No.
Weekend's a tough fixture. So that calmness is important. But how do you find sort of being, at times you're going to have to be a bit more intense, and at times you're going to have to just calm down a bit. How do you sort of regulate the guys and say, all right, guys, you know, you got to learn to adapt to these situations. Are they approachable like that? Are they learning to adapt when it comes to a bit of tough situations when you need to have a cool head?
I think it takes a while for players to learn, and I think with our success in 2019, I think it was a process, obviously, with people that were involved before that. Because with schoolboy cricketers, you need to keep working on that. You keep instilling that culture in the side, and boys will learn and will see quickly. Okay, now it's time for us to focus, and it's time for us to be serious. I think that is something that you learn along the way with the players that you are working with. But obviously, it's setting the tone from the word go, and they understand clearly. It's like being a teacher. If you walk into a new setup or a new class, a new school, obviously, if you're standing in front of the boys, they sort of pick up what sort of person are you? Can we take chances? But it's all about being consistent. If you tell them this is how we do things and stick to that, and they will know when there's a change of tone that, okay, now we under the pump here, we need to do something about it. So it's again, I'm going back to that working relationship with your players, understanding your players' different personalities, and they would understand you. You don't even have to say a word sometimes, just by the walk and by the the look in your eyes, and they'll definitely pick that up, and they will know straight away, you know what, he in trouble here. So sometimes, different things bring out, the best in people or in teams. But it's all about that understanding, that working relationship between your players and yourself. I think that is important, Brian.
And what I really enjoy about cricket, you just say there's an average player. He loves the game. He's trying his best. But it's just doing those little things well, consistently. And you might get another guy who's really good, but doesn't take the game as seriously. I always enjoy it when there's a guy who loves the game, who's average, but it's just worked, and then maybe he started under 14C team, next thing he's under 16As.
Yeah.
Do you also enjoy that type of thing when you see a story like that unfold?
I think that is the best thing you can ever find and do for a human being, because I think that's what coaching is about. Really, that's what coaching is about, seeing that growth, and particularly the guy that that is not so talented, but he grinds, he works hard, and you see him do well. I mean, that's priceless. You can't buy that at Pick and Pay, if I should say. It's just another level, and I enjoy that. That's why we coach, because we want to make them better human beings, even if they don't play Proteas one day, but they would have learned a lesson of some sort generally in their lives.
Yes. Yeah. No, absolutely. And Lucky, are you still involved from a KZN inland coaching perspective? Are you still involved as a selector, manager? Which age group? Are the trials even happening this year? What's the story with KZN inland schools cricket?
Yeah, luckily, yes, I'm still in the setup with the KZN Inland as a selector, convener of selectors for under 17 age group. And I also assist that age group as well when they do go to a national week. So I like that role, because obviously as a selector and still get involved with players when they go to a national week. Yeah, but currently this year, Ryan, as you may know, that we haven't had any cricket due to obviously the pandemic. The signs of things is that we're not going to have any national weeks this year, but we will resume obviously cricket next year, January. I don't know what the planning is. I hardly doubt that we'll have any national weeks even next year, because obviously we're looking at probably 4 months from January to April, which is normally what the second half of the season would be.
Yeah.
But maybe next year, December, go back to the normality of things where we have our national weeks. But this year, definitely there isn't any national weeks that will be happening.
Sure. how did you sort of, and maybe there was a team of you guys. How do you sort of say to the matrix, well, guys, that's it. Your chances of, I don't know, taking 100 first-team wickets or making a provincial side, that's it. It's done. How did they deal with that? How did you sort of sit the guys down and say, guys, sorry, you're not going to get that KZN badge.
Yeah. It was a tough one. It was a tough year, as you say. There's a lot of obviously ambitions that probably didn't happen, and guys maybe had goals at the beginning of the year and saying, you know what, I want to make KZN under 19 this year. If I mention likes of Keegan Crawford, I'm sure he was looking forward to that. But obviously, it's not the end of the world. That's what the message to them was. Yes, the Mandan have had that opportunity to represent KZN under 19 this year, particularly. But there's also things after that. There are opportunities for them to be in the academy, provincial academy setup, which is what normally happens after school. So looking forward to that. And there are options of playing Cubs Week next year, because I think they have mentioned that there will be a Cubs Week next year in March or whenever it is. So there's that to look forward to. But I know that there will be some sort of trials prior to that. I'm not sure how CSA is going to run that, but obviously to give the guys that lost out this year an opportunity again to represent, obviously, Cubs teams, if I may put it that way. And obviously academies are there for them. So yeah, I mean, even though they've lost out this year, but there's still obviously opportunities that are still coming around the corner.
Yeah. Are you going to be directly involved in Cubs Week? And where do you think it'll be taking place in South Africa next year?
I'm not sure, but I don't think I will be involved this year because obviously the school commitments is one, and secondly, they're using the union people these days to probably get involved with that.
Okay.
But normally in Stellenbosch, that's where it normally takes place, down in the Western Cape. I don't foresee any changes to that. I think they'll still be doing the same like they've done over the years, hoisting it and done in Western Cape. Yeah.
No, interesting, Lucky. So it's been quite a year for you guys. You've hit an absolute high, and I know there's going to be a bit of work to do this year. But do you feel that competitiveness is just what makes school sports so good in South Africa? Just that absolute, everyone wants to beat each other. It's brilliant, isn't it?
That's what it is about, which is great. Great, absolutely, yeah. As you mentioned, it's gonna be a tough year for us. But obviously, with every school, you have to build for 3 years, be successful. I think we've had our building phases, and then we have been successful in the year 2019. Now it starts again, the circle starts again. So it's one of those things. I mean, every school perhaps goes through that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting times, but this is important for the processes to get into place, and obviously getting the younger guys coming through and teaching them the ropes, so that when they get to matric or grade 11, they are a good unity. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah, and I just think it's good for cricket in South Africa as well. It's everyone's happy that the 4 days going on, but yeah, I think through all what's been happening in the country, whichever way you look at it, people just have to keep going, just keep going. Because challenges do happen. They happen. They come across your way, and it's
absolutely part of life. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and that's why I'm a big fan of cricket, really, because it's not always easy, but you've got to go around through and get the result that you want. Very, very good. Yeah. Well, Lucky, it's been really good to chat to you. Thank you so much for that insight. You painted a lovely holistic picture there of what happens in cricket. And I hope you're teaching all your youngsters to bowl more bounces. Very important.
As a surprise balls with us.
Because I'll be a bit
worried. Ryan, thank you thank you for having me, and thank you, you know, to have that chat. It's important, yeah. To have engagements like this. Yeah, thank you for that opportunity.
No, it's good. It's always, like I said, it's always nice to talk to schoolmasters. Cole Bradfield summed it up quite well when I chatted to him. Is that we're so fortunate to have such dynamic and awesome schoolmasters. We've got plenty. I mean, look at yourself.
Around the country. Yes.
I tell you, we are so lucky, guys, that just give and give and give and give and give. These youngsters don't often understand how blessed they are actually. But yeah, so thank you for what you do, because it's not always easy. It's tough, but yeah, we keep going.
No, thank you, Smithers. Thank you very much.
The last question is how was the under 14s? All right, or they? But it's hard to say because you didn't play much cricket.
Yeah, so it's hard to tell. Yeah, but they are a good group. They are a very good group, talented group from what we can see. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how they grow to the under 15s and ultimately to the first team level. But it is a good group.
I mean, you mistake some of those strong under 15s, when they're in grade 10 and put them into the first team, just blood them. Really.
Yeah, of course.
That's how you just blood them.
That's it.
They'll have a cuck 16, grade 10 year. It'll be tough for them.
Yeah, but 11s, they'll be better. Yeah.
They'll be proper. They will.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Smithers. Yeah, so that's how it's going to be.
But anyway,
All right, buddy.
You're a good man.
Take it easy.
All the best, bud. Cheers, man.
Sure, Ryan.
What's up?